Okay, so we're looking at finances, elementary, intermediate. This is going to be geared towards fourth grade. This could probably also work between third and fifth and possibly even beyond that, since this stuff's basically all the same every year. So we're going to look at fixed versus variable expenses. And the first thing to talk about before we talk about the difference of these two is what is an expense. So an expense is pretty much any time that you're spending money, okay? It could be anything from buying food to buying a video game, paying a bill. So if it's an expense, it's costing you money. So fixed, we're going to start with that one first. Fixed pretty much just means that the money amount does not change. Does not change. And this could either be from week to week, month to month, and so on. So one very easy example to understand for you guys is going to be Netflix. Okay, Netflix, Hulu, things like that, some kind of a subscription service to some type of business where they charge you for the same amount each month. I'm pretty sure Netflix is around $10 a month. I don't really know what Hulu is. I think it's 7 or 8 or whatever, but it's always the same. So like if I register for a Netflix account, I'm going to pay that $10 every single month. It's always going to be $10. The only way that can change is if Netflix as a company decides, well, we need to increase our price, and then they'll have to let all their customers know. They can't just change it on you like that without notifying you. Okay, so that would be a fixed expense. Some other fixed expenses, real common ones would be like your money that you pay for your car. Could be your car note, your car loan, house note. Okay, so your house. That could involve rent, paying your mortgage. Insurance is another one that's fixed. When you pay insurance companies, you actually agree to pay a certain amount each month, okay, and that covers you and whatever it is that you're covering. And the only time that gets messed with is if you file a claim or something, or you get into a car crash or something like that and they have to pay for your car or something like that. But you actually pay the insurance company every month, and that's for protection. Excuse me, that's for protection until something happens. So fixed just means that it always stays the same amount. Okay? Always the same. Variable is the opposite. Variable means that your prices of whatever it is that you're paying can go up or down or up or stay like this and up and then down, and you never really know exactly what it's going to be. Sometimes you can get close, but you never know exactly to the perfect cent. Easy to understand examples of this. Your water bill, your light bill, if you have propane, natural gas at your house, gasoline for your car, okay? All of those types of expenses, you don't know exactly what your light bill is going to be from month to month. Your light bill's probably going to go up during the summer months when you run your air conditioner a lot more. In the winter months, if you have a gas line, which means you're going to run your heater all the time, then your gas bill is going to go up. Gasoline for your car, okay? You don't know from one month to the next month how much gas you're going to use. You might decide to take a trip and go to eat somewhere that's an hour and a half away or something like that. So that's going to end up costing you more. So variable expenses basically means they change over time. As far as other things, this is going to include, we would call this the fun or like entertainment. This could be so many things. This could be going out to the movies, this could be buying toys, this could be going out to eat at some fancy restaurant, Anything that you would do for fun that's not like, an absolute necessity is going to fall under that fun category. Going on a family trip, going on a vacation, doing things like that. That is going to change every single month because you might not know exactly what's going to happen this month. Another thing too normally is if your family and you spend money on something and maybe y'all go to a trip or something, chances are the next weekend you're probably not going to do that or whatever, or the next month, because you're probably still kind of broke from doing the thing that you just did. So it's one of those things where your amount of your fun stuff, it's going to be different from month to month. Okay, you never really know exactly what you're going to spend on that. Groceries, groceries, food. Let's see if I can spell this right. Groceries. Pretty sure that's right. I'm not the best speller. So groceries, food, pet care. You might have to get, your dog some toys or something this month, but you might not do it next month. You need cat food, cat litter, dog food, dog litter, whatever. Just anything where, you never really know what it's going to be from month to month. So in a nutshell, the variable expenses are the ones that are going to always change all the time. You never really know 100% what it's going to be, whereas the fixed ones stay the same. Okay, so I hope that kind of clears up some things. The other thing I want to look at real fast is debit versus credit cards. Okay, you've seen, somebody at your house that you've been out with, they've purchased something, it could be at a business or out to eat or something. Some places have the little card swiper that you swipe and you've got to type in your little number. Okay, so what's the difference and why? And let me show you this before we get started. These are out of my wallet, okay? And I'm sorry they're all scratched up, but I have one of these. One's a debit, one's a credit card. And I chose these two because they're both black. They both got the chips. One says Visa, one says MasterCard. That's just the company that kind of, manages the overall, gives approval for that. But, this one does say debit on it. But other than the word debit, these look pretty much exactly the same. Like even this one says a bank on it. But this is actually the credit card. And this is the debit card. And even on the back, they look the same. So by looking at something, you really honestly can't really tell a whole lot unless it says the word debit. So they primarily look the same. So what's the difference? Well, your debit, pretty much the main difference in a debit card is when you spend money, that money comes out of your checking account. Okay? And there we go. China's on your checking account. So here's a good example of that. Let's say I go out to eat with a buddy. It's his birthday or something. So I say, hey, I'm going to, I'll buy you lunch or something like that. And let's say that I had $500 in my checking account and I go out to eat with my bud and our food or whatever is $40. Before I even leave that restaurant, I'm going to already be down to $460. Okay, $460. It directly affected my checking account. All right, it came literally pretty much like using cash out of my checking account. So as soon as you use a debit card, it comes out immediately. Okay, I don't have to pay that money back. It's gone already, and my money that I did have got smaller. You will also see PINs on debit cards, which is personal identification number. This is the 4-digit code that, after mom or dad swipe the card at the business, they swipe it through that machine and it says PIN number and they protect it and then they type in their 4-digit code. That's your PIN number, okay? And you can change those. That's a security thing. Some credit cards have PIN numbers too, but it's not very common, okay? So, credit card. Okay, well, if the debit card comes out of your checking account, what's the credit card do? So for the credit card, you're actually using another company, and you're going to have to pay that company back. So you have to pay the money back. This does not come out of your checking account at all. It actually has nothing to do with your checking account. And when you use your credit card, let's say I go buy a video game or an Xbox or PlayStation or an iPad or something like that, and I use my credit card, they're actually the ones paying for that because you didn't use your money. Okay, so they're actually the ones paying that, so you have to pay them back. And the scary part is on credit cards is normally pretty much always, unless you have a wonderful credit card, they're going to make money off of you. They're in business to make money, so they make money off of you. We're going to put this money from you. And here's a good example of that. All right, let's say that you're a college student and you don't have a lot of money because you're just barely making it in college, and your computer breaks down, and you have to have a computer to do your lessons and do your assignments and stuff like that. You got to have a computer. So you don't have a lot of money in your checking account, so you don't want to use your debit card. Well, if you have a credit card, this is probably going to be a better option, because you can go buy that computer now. It won't cost you anything right now, and then when your bills start to come in, you can start to pay it back over time. Okay, now there will be some sort of percentage charge that they charge you. So yes, you're going to pay more for that computer. And here's an example. Let's say your computer was $1,000. Okay, let's say you got a really good one. It was $1,000, and you're going to start paying payments of around $50 per month. All right. You would think that if I did 1,000 divided by 50 and I get 20 payments, because I know 50 times 20 is $1,000, that I could just make 20 payments. Well, that's not actually true, because they're going to charge you each time and make money off of you. So by the end of this thing actually being paid for, you might even pay, $1,500 to $2,000 for that computer by the time it's actually paid for. They make money from you. So they lend you the credit, they lend you the money, you're allowed to buy stuff, but you pay it back at a higher rate. And that's how they make money. It's very smart. They give you money and then you pay them back money, but then they make money from giving you money. So it's pretty smart. And there's nothing wrong with this, because, once again, that college student, they didn't have the option of using their money because they didn't have a lot of money. So, credit cards can be very helpful. Big purchases, your car breaks down, something like that. But there's times when this one's better, or there's times when this one's better. For things like groceries, things like gas, things like going out to eat. You don't really want to use a credit card for that, because think about this. If you spend $40 on gas and then you charge it on a credit card, you're going to end up paying more for that $40 of gas, which is, not too smart. So that would be a better instance for your debit card. Okay, if you can afford it, try to always use your debit cards if you can afford it. Okay, credit card would be for special circumstances. Maybe if money is tight right now, or if it's a bigger purchase and you don't want to, completely get rid of all your funds in your checking account. So main difference in debit and credit is debit card, it's actually your money that goes away. Okay, whereas the credit card is you're using a service, you're using a credit card, and you have to pay them back monthly or whatever. Okay, and they are going to make money from you. Okay, so I hope that makes sense. This is Mr. Pernay's class, and I appreciate you watching.